All right. We are here today with Patty Halien, who has been crushing Zoom parties. She's done trainings for us on this in the past, but we've had some additional follow-up questions for her, and she's continued to crush these parties. So we're having her back. And if you haven't ever done a Zoom party, you should listen up. And if you have done a Zoom party, you should also listen up because even if you've years ago and maybe it didn't work, now is a great time to try it again, or yeah, even try it with your VIP group members. So without further ado, we are going to get going. And the first question that I have for you, Patty, is what would you say your average party sales are for your Zoom parties?
That would be $600, but I have had a few that have gone like over 1,000.
That's amazing. And $1,000 party, a Zoom party, an average 600. That is high for party averages company-wide. I don't know if it's still the case, but last I knew, party average for the company-wide was 400 in sales. Maybe it's 500 now, but either way, 600 is an amazing sweet spot for a Zoom party, and that's incredible. So I know everybody's going to want to know this. How did you first get a host that was willing to do a Zoom party? Most of us, I don't think, have tried a Zoom party. So the first step we would need to do is find a host. So how did you do that?
So I had several people who were hosts in the past that when COVID hit, I was trying to figure out a way to host or to have them host again, but without exposing everybody to danger. So I was familiar with Zoom. I really enjoyed Zoom for other things. So I said, how about if we try a Zoom party?
I love that. It's so funny that like sometimes things like this, like COVID, or for me, I started doing Facebook parties because my husband's work schedule changed and it forced me to do it. So sometimes when we're put in these situations where we have no other choices, right? We're like forced into it kind of, it can really be beneficial and it really helps us to grow. So I love that you came up with this idea and started doing them because of COVID, and that now you have these hosts who continue to want to host with you, right? Because they've had success in the past. That's awesome. Okay, so what is the host's role in the party? We know what that looks like for like a Facebook party or an in-home party. Is it similar? How is it different? Like, what does the host role look like?
So the host has to reach out to her friends, of course, in any instance, no matter what you're doing. They have to reach out to their friends. And then if their friends show an interest in being at the party, she has to come up with a time that works for everyone, as well as myself, and then get me everyone's accurate email address so that I can send them communications about the party.
Okay.
And of course, she has to be there.
That's important. That's really important to make clear with the host. Oh my gosh. That's interesting. Okay, so I didn't realize that. So you are communicating with them via email. Have you considered or ever tried communicating via text message, like getting their phone numbers instead?
I did try it, but what I like to do is I like to send them an email, and I try and make it really pretty. Like I put on all kinds of little borders and pictures and things like that, because I can communicate with them about the products more easily if I do it that way. And I can then send them a link that they can use on any device that they have their email on, to be able to, like, if they want to come on the computer and I text it to them, it's not always available to them on the computer to be able to join Zoom. So I find the email is the best at that point. And sometimes I even have the hostess, if I haven't like gotten any kind of response from my email, I'll have the hostess text them.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That makes sense. This is why I love this interview, because it's like, for those of us that have never done one, it helps us realize, oh yeah, they might want to join from their computer, and yeah, they'll want an email because then they can access it either phone or on their PC. So awesome. Okay. Makes sense. And I love that you're sending additional info on the products and things. Another question about your emails. So is there a certain program you use for the email, or do you use our back office email?
I use just my email, Yahoo. I
Oh,
use
okay.
that, and there's options for making margins that are pretty, and stuff like that. So I just try and make it kind of festive, and I welcome them to the fact that we're going to be joining Zoom. But I also try and let them know about the products, that they're very natural. And then I send them or attach before and after pictures of people
Oh,
whose skin has improved, or psoriasis or whatever. I send them like a few before and after pictures.
okay. This is another question that's not on here. I knew there was going to be more. But so what you just said reminded me of it. So do you, and I think I already know the answer, but I'm asking for the people who are watching, because I'm sure they're going to want to know. Are there specific, for these parties, are there specific products that you focus on? So do you focus on face care or skin care, body care, etc.? Like when you're doing the actual Zoom?
So I have different like subjects, depending on if they are people who have seen the products before. Then
Mhm.
I might move on to something else that's involved. Like first, I usually start with face care,
Okay.
but then I may go to body care, products with a purpose, like different, depending on who they are, I
Mhm.
kind of switch up things accordingly.
Got it. So that makes sense. I feel like face care would be a really good one to do via Zoom, especially a lot of demo that you can do. Okay. So prior to the party, um, what does your setup look like? Do you do a Facebook group at all? I think we kind of already know the answer to this one, but I'll ask it anyways. Do you do a Facebook group at all? And what does aside from what you've already shared with us, where you're finding a host, the host is inviting their friends, and you are sending an email to those friends after you received their addresses. Um, is there any other piece that you do before the party starts, aside from like also gathering your products and getting ready to present the Zoom?
So I asked the hostess if her friends are on Facebook, and if she would like me to do a Facebook page. And if she would like that, then I do it. In general, I probably only do that with every third party.
Okay.
Like most of them, if their friends are familiar with Zoom, they're not on Facebook or whatever. And so
Right.
then it wouldn't be really anything that would help, but
Mhm.
I leave that up to her.
Okay. Well, that's really great, because if you're not setting up, for the most part, Facebook groups, then it's really kind of easy, or I shouldn't say, maybe not easy, but less work for you to do on your end, because it's just that one email and then you do the Zoom, and then I'll ask you later about what you do after the party. But already I'm liking this because it sounds like a lot less work. So how long are the actual Zoom parties on average?
On average, I would say an hour and a half is top.
Mhm.
So it's an hour and a half. Sometimes it's an hour. It depends on how many questions I field after I do my presentation.
Okay, so how long would you say is your presentation part?
So again, it kind of varies depending on the people who are on, but I start out with 5 to 10 minutes where I have my own little presentation on endocrine disruptors, hormone inhibitors, how that affects the body. Because I've done a lot of research on that, and I find that most people have no clue, probably including many consultants, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I had no clue till I did the research. It can be very, very harmful to the body, and it works on a cellular level, so it's affecting all the cells in our body. So I go through about 5 to 10 minutes of that, and then I tell people, okay, now that your eyes are glazed over, I'm going to tell you about how good our products are and how they solve different skin issues. And then I'll, if I'm doing the one on the face, I'll go through serums and cleansers and, like really give a good comprehensive view of that.
Mhm.
And then I'll tell them what I use and why. And then I'll ask them, do you have any concerns yourself that you would like me to comment on possible products to help be a solution to some skincare issues?
Okay. So great. So that's seems so simple. I love this. So after you do your presentation, you open it up for questions. People either type it in the chat or unmute, depending on how they feel, whatever they feel comfortable doing, right? And then cool. So then, yeah, you just answer their questions depending on what they are, and maybe go into some more detail. Do you how do you get so when you're wrapping up the party, you let them know that they can find the link in their email, or do you also put it in the chat again, or what does that look like when you're closing the party and you're like, okay, if you want to order whatever, tell me that part.
Yeah, so I do send a specific email with access to the catalog that they can look through electronically, the party link so that they can order and make sure they're ordering through the party. I also tell them, make sure when you are putting in your order that you see the party listed above that thing where you're typing in the order. Make sure you see the party listed, because sometimes they can get confused and get off the party link
Yeah.
and put in their order. It's just on my website in general, which is hard. But yeah, so I try and coach them through that. I also tell them sometimes it can be confusing, and I give them my phone number so that they can get in touch with me if they would like me to put their order in for them. I say I'm more than happy to do that for you.
Okay. So you do send a follow-up email after the Zoom. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Have you ever thought about like, because you can share your screen, have you thought about like showing them this is how you get to the website, or this is what I'm talking about when you, maybe it's just another thing added time wise, but have you ever done that?
I haven't, although now you got me thinking, so maybe I will try to do that and see how it works. I do screen sharing for, again, the before and after pictures, because when I send them the pictures, they don't have a context usually where it says this was accomplished with healing elements, or this was accomplished with this particular. So I screen share to tell them what did those miraculous before and after pictures involve and how long did it take. I copy that information down and screen share.
Oh, okay, cool. So perfect. Here's another question for you. So with the images, do you have like a folder on your computer that has all of these testimonials that you're sharing, or is it like, where do you keep those so that it's easy access, or like, easy to share them in your Zoom?
So I keep them on my files, in my files, I should say. And then before I have the party, I actually have them like on the bottom of my computer.
Okay,
And so I can easily pull them up.
gotcha. So you open them all up, so you have them. Yeah, that makes sense. Very cool. All right. Because I'm thinking too, you could do most of your party is like what we're doing now, where it's just you on video, and then you share some of these testimonials where you're sharing the graphics. I was just going to mention, like, maybe it would be cool to do a Canva presentation or PowerPoint kind of thing, but I think it takes away from the like getting to know you more and your face and your personality, which is like part of the reason why your Zoom parties, I'm sure, work really well. So there's really no need to do all the extra stuff there. And yeah. So anyways, just thinking for those of you that are thinking like, oh, you could do you could do a whole presentation. Like I was just thinking, and then I realized this is a better thing.
Mhm.
And so that makes it easy too, because you're just, there's no PowerPoint, no nothing, but you have those before and afters, which we know are so powerful and sell the products so well. I love that. All right. So is there anything else that I haven't asked about that you think helps make your party successful, or that would be important for consultants who might want to try this format out?
I think having the people who are on Zoom with me, I always say, if I mention a product and you love it, pipe up, don't, so they may speak right in the middle of my presentation, but it's okay because their friends trust them, and eventually after they've had a party for a few times, it's like there's a relationship that I get to develop with them based on the fact that probably I'm not all like, yay, this is great stuff. I'm more quiet and more like, but I know the products, and I feel like that comes through to them, especially with that first initial idea of what are these other products doing to you? What are these hormone? I mean, it's really scary when you look at it closely. So I feel like that helps them to develop a trust in me. And a lot of times they'll order basically whatever I present because they trust it.
Yeah, that's so smart. Well, yeah, and you're providing value. You're showing that you're knowledgeable not only about the products, but about the chemicals and things like that as well. So that is, I mean, that's really building that know, like, and trust factor. And I think seeing your face, hearing your voice, getting to know your personality, all of that is really like you ramp up the know, like, and trust factor when you're doing this on video, as we know. But I think Zoom, because it's an interactive, because you're seeing their faces, it makes it much, I don't know, more fun for you as the consultant as well, because it's not just you're on Facebook Live and you're staring at yourself and hoping to see comments. I think it's really great to have that, to do it via Zoom. My last question, I think, when you are sharing your favorite products, are you sharing like mostly sets that they can buy, so that does that, because I'm just thinking your sales are they're so great. $600, $2,000 parties. I mean, that's crazy good. So when you're presenting, for example, skincare, are you presenting the skincare set as a whole, or are you presenting the products individually and then maybe at the end mentioning sets, or how are you doing that?
Well, the last time that I did the Zoom party, they had like a set of a certain number of products that were marked down, or that you could pick your products. That was it. You could pick your products, like you had a choice.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Build your
So
bundle.
I did that as a bundle, and I, recommended certain things. Most of the women were like me, getting older. Can't believe I'm going to be 65 this year.
That's
But
crazy.
anyway, most of them were on the older side, and they each bought my exact picks. You know, it's like, those look good. Yep. And then we added something else to it. I'm trying to remember what we added. I can't remember. But anyway, I had one other thing in mind that might have been microdermabrasion. Yeah, that's what it was, microdermabrasion cream. So that party did really top out at a good amount because of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like skincare is always my go-to, and I'm sure those of you watching this probably focus on skincare as well, especially first because they're the higher priced items, they're the consumable items, and if we can get them on skincare, then we can get them on the other stuff eventually as well. But yeah, that's awesome, and it makes total sense that you would have high sales, especially with the anti-aging products. So awesome. All right. One more question. Sorry. Okay, so you send the email. Sorry, are you still there? Okay, I was getting a phone call. Of course, I get a phone call right now from my husband. What are you doing? Okay, I'm just gonna tell him I'm on a call so he doesn't call me back. We're almost done here. All right, so you've emailed, you send the follow-up email, people are ordering. Do you reach out again via email to those people who have not ordered but attended the party? And also, do you reach out again to the people maybe who didn't order and didn't attend the Zoom party live?
It all depends. So usually my first go-to, if let's say there was somebody who was, you could tell they were gonna probably order because they were interested. If I haven't gotten an order from them, I usually ask the hostess to text them and ask them, do you want to order? Because I figure coming from the hostess, that's their friend. But if the hostess is like, well, I don't, then I will reach out to them. I'll ask for their phone number and I'll reach out to them by text at that point, because I don't always feel like they're gonna see an email and open it necessarily. Because I don't do that a lot.
I'm guilty of opening emails as well. That makes sense. Okay, final question. Last question. So right now you and I are on Zoom. I'm recording this so that people can watch it later. Do you record your parties? And if so, do you email out the link to the recording or the replay when you're sending the final email, or the email you send after the party? Do you include the replay to that party in the email?
So I have not learned how to record
yet. Okay.
So I would like to learn how to do that, because I would like to, at least for my own benefit, be able to record it so I could see how it looks and then maybe make some adjustments depending.
Well, I feel like your parties are going very well, obviously, $600, $2,000 parties. So I don't think there's much to improve upon. However, yeah, it's super simple to record on Zoom. I believe you may have to have a paid version of Zoom, which you must if you're doing hours. Okay.
I do.
So for those watching, I think you can always Google it, but Google if you need to have a subscription to Zoom in order to record. I think that answer is yes. However, so Patty, if you do, it's super simple. It's just on the bottom of your screen as the host. You can do this. Just Google how to record Zoom.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Do that because like, for example, I'm doing this from my phone today. I'm recording this from my phone. So when I'm done, it will automatically go to the cloud. So if I go online and I go in, and the same thing will happen on my computer. If I did it on my computer, as long as I selected that I wanted it to save to the cloud versus my computer. Once it's saved to the cloud, then it says like right next to your call, you can click on it and you can click share and it'll give you the link to the recording that you can send people so that they can watch it. And it's super simple. It always has a password in there, which you guys probably are all familiar with because home office usually does that same style where they send us the link with the password. But I think that would be really, that could really help those people who, if you send the link at the end of the party, the people who didn't show up, obviously, if they want to watch it. But also I'm just thinking, for me, I know I'm like, sometimes I get off a party and I'm like, oh shoot, or even a training and I'm like, oh shoot, what did they say about that? Let me fast forward or get to that part again so I can see it. So that would might be cool. I don't know, just something to think about. All right, Patty, thank you so much for sharing. This has been super fun, very informative. And I don't know about you guys, but I am ready to try a Zoom party, and I might just start with my VIP group members. Now, I've said this a million times that I'm going to do this, and I still haven't done it, but I'm telling you guys, I'm speaking it out loud. I'm going to do it by the end of March. I will do a Zoom party with, at the very least, my VIP group members, because I think that's a great way to show them how it works. And then if anybody wants to do it with their friends, that could be really cool. And even you don't send any samples or anything, right, Patty? You're just doing.
Well, it depends. Like sometimes I have people that will, like, as the party's going on, they'll say to me, I've tried so many things. I've spent so much money on it with other companies, of course, not with Lemongrass. And they'll be like, I just hate to spend a lot of money and find out I didn't like it. And so then depending, I'll either offer to send them like a little bit of samples, if there's something specific, or I'll tell them about the make it yourself, like little kits, like
Yes.
the little samples. And that way, I'll tell them you can try it without investing a lot. What was really funny is one woman, she got two of them, one for herself, one for her friend, for the $20 each. And then she also ordered like a bunch of other stuff. And I was thinking to myself, okay, because I was thinking it would cut down on the sales for the party, but no, yeah, so that works.
Yeah, that works. Cool. Because it would also be kind of fun to have people, if you got if as a consultant, you purchased the skincare trial set and then had people, you could do it for a specific price. I don't know. That is a good question. I wonder if if you tried it with your VIP group, that'd be a great place to start, because it might, like you said, I would think maybe decrease the party sales if they're paying like $10 to begin with for a mini kit that is shipped to them that you put together, for them, but they pay $10 for it. I just think it might be cool to do a Zoom where they're going through it and they have some products to use as well. But
I did do, before we couldn't make our own samples, it wasn't a Zoom party, but it was a Facebook party. I did send out like a little bit of mask, in a little baggie for everybody to have on for the party.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, even a mask would be nice. And then even if you just sent them one skincare sample, like the mask or a polish or something like that, one thing, it'd be way cheaper for them. Like you could do it for like $5 each. Cool. All right, we're really going to wrap it up this time. Thank you so much, Patty, for sharing. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns about Zoom parties and how Patty does them, you can put them in the comments below this post, because I'll be sharing this in the group. Or if you're catching this on YouTube or somewhere else, you can find Patty on Facebook, Patty, Patty, Halien, Halien.
And my picture looks a lot like this. So
yeah. You look the same. You're one of those people. Your picture looks the same. That's a great thing, because there's no catfish happening here. All right. Thanks again, Patty. And we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.